Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Fred, and I am the Undoctor. And, I'm very fortunate, or you could say I have a long history inside of the mental health field. I started in the mental health field in January of 1980 after dropping out of college a second time because no one was teaching me really how to communicate. And I got a job working as a child care worker in a state mental health facility for adolescents, mostly boys. And there, I finally learned that when we communicate, that's when special, very beautiful miracles happen. Upon connecting with these kids, I guess they were only 5 or 7 years younger than me at the time, I learned that with that connection comes a massive amount of healing in all directions, not just for them, but for me and the whole community. So, how did psychiatry get away with actually selling us the idea of permanent illness? Well, it happened around that same time in my recollection. Now, beforehand, there had been some moves to declare permanent illness as well. But during this time, what became very clear upon the advent and the introduction to Prozac in 1987 or 1988, the whole idea of what psychiatry was shifted on its ear. And we began to believe that psychiatry was a biological abnormality, a chemical imbalance, is as if biological psychiatry was going to be able to change things, and that they had worked on it in these, high rise laboratories. And at Eli Lilly, where they created Prozac, there was just this miraculous drug that somehow came off the conveyor belt. What I'm trying to say here is that this became very interesting to people, the idea that there might be a panacea in a capsule. And it was so interesting because the capsule was then on the cover of Newsweek, and I believe the cover of Time as well, just a picture of the capsule, just showing how important that drug could be into the future. And they were right, my goodness. There was talk about putting it into the water systems in the big cities of Los Angeles and New York City. And I frankly do remember that. But the thing that was really interesting is that it was now associated with a condition. And the condition was if you felt crummy, if you felt sad, if you felt depressed, if you felt out of balance, if you felt out of sorts, if you felt misaligned, if you felt distracted, if you felt nervous, if you felt afraid, if you felt aimless, any of these feelings that none of us are eager to feel, then that meant that there was something wrong with you and that somehow that could be discovered through our inner selves and then declared as a permanent illness. So in my world, the way that permanent illness got created was because these medicines don't actually heal. So in fact, when you start taking the medicines, you are buying a ticket for a perpetuation of the condition rather than realizing that moods and experiences and feelings and sensations and emotions actually go through their own timeline. But when we buy these medicines or when we take on the notion of a permanent psychiatric illness, it leaves us with the idea that we can't get better and the best we could hope is to contain or slow down the deterioration. So with that said, in fact, chronic illness got created by creating chronic treatment, especially in the form of medication. Chronic treatment in the form of medication does create chemical imbalance and, in fact, then perpetuates, secures, and even sometimes causes the symptoms it's marketed to treat. If you want to learn more about being an undoctor and getting people off of medicine, and then actually getting people off their diagnosis and then having them not have to come through the mental health system as a way of managing their discomfort, come see me at undoctorreset.com. That's www.undoctorreset.com. Let's learn together. Let's actually share. Let's communicate. Let's do this. Bye for now.